Hey everybody, welcome to the Addiction Unlimited podcast, where you get to learn everything you want to know about addiction and recovery. I'm your host, Angela Pugh, co-founder of Kansas City Recovery, life coach, and recovering alcoholic. To learn more about me, you can listen to episode 0 on your podcast app or find us on the web at addictionunlimited.com. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. I'm your coach, Angela Pugh. Today's episode is for those of you who are already past the getting sober phase, like you've built some consistency, you're not counting days anymore, you're living your life. Well, maybe you're still counting days because honestly, I don't still count days, but I still count. I'm very conscious of my sobriety and how long it's been, but you're living your life, right? And you may have found yourself wondering why don't I feel more excited? Or shouldn't I be happier by now? Or did I miss something? Is this just it? And I want you to know nothing is wrong if you're thinking any of that. This is a completely natural part of the journey. And it can happen anytime, whether you're 30 days sober or 20 years in. We all hit moments of emotional flatness or restlessness or disconnection. Sometimes it's just a sign we need to come back to center, back to structure, back to the basics that keep us grounded and growing. Sobriety gives you your life back, but it can feel like you're just going through the motions. Like you're not thinking about relapse and counting days. You're not hanging on by a thread. You're just maybe flat or disconnected. Like you're not struggling, but you're not thriving either. And if you've caught yourself thinking, I thought quitting was going to fix everything. Why do I still feel low-key empty? Then this episode is for you. Because the truth is, sobriety stops the drinking. Recovery rebuilds the life. A lot of people stop at not drinking and then wonder why it feels off. But you didn't get sober just to be okay. You got sober to feel better and be happier. You got sober to build something bigger than what alcohol ever gave you, a life that actually feels good. So if you're feeling some of this right now, flat, disconnected, bored, it's not a sign something's wrong. It's a sign you're ready for your next level. And by the end of this episode, it'll make more sense. You'll get why that off feeling isn't a setback. It's actually an invitation. You'll get how to stop waiting for clarity and start creating it, and what to do today to shift from flat to more focused on your future. You don't need another podcast about early sobriety tips or why alcohol is bad. You need a strategy for what comes after quitting. You need structure that supports your healing. And to make sure this episode becomes a turning point and not just a talking point, I have a free tool for you to anchor everything we talk about today. It's my daily plan. This isn't just a checklist. It's clean, simple structure to help you stay sober, lower your anxiety, and build connection. These are the pillars of recovery. And this is a simple sheet that breaks it down for you. And it doesn't matter if you're 10 days in or 5 years deep. This tool gives you structure that supports consistency and calm and clarity. It's the exact process I use to stay grounded, and I use it with my clients to help them stay on track. So if you're ready to take your next step to get that unlimited life, go grab my daily plan now. It's super simple and it's very comforting because it removes the guesswork, right? Hit the link in the show notes or go to addictionunlimited.com/plan. Let's dive into this because what you're feeling isn't weird. It's actually the beginning of something bigger. You made the decision to stop drinking, and that decision changed everything. But if you're anything like the people I work with that are high functioning, you probably thought quitting would be the hard part, right? That once you removed alcohol, everything else would naturally fall into place. And it probably did for a while, right? You do feel better. You're proud of yourself. You cleaned up some messes. People comment on how good you seem. But under the surface, something wasn't clicking. You weren't drinking, but you still didn't feel in control. That's because quitting is a decision, but recovery is a direction. Quitting ends the drinking, recovery builds the person. Quitting's binary. You do it or you don't. Recovery, on the other hand, is about daily leadership. It's not about alcohol anymore. It's about you. It's about leading your thoughts when doubt creeps in, regulating your emotions when you feel frustrated, making decisions that align with your peace and not your past, and showing up for yourself with consistency. That's direction and movement. That's ownership. When I got sober, I was all in. I didn't dabble. I didn't negotiate. But once the chaos was gone and the dust settled, I found myself facing a whole new problem where I was looking at everything and I'm like, okay, now what? Because I didn't just detox from alcohol, I was detoxing from a lifestyle of distraction, avoidance, and emotional chaos. Without the drinking, I had to finally sit with myself. And that was terrifying. But that's when I learned, like, sobriety gave me space, but recovery gave me direction. And here's what happens when people stop at the decision but never step into direction. You get bored, you start overthinking everything, pick fights, you overwork or isolate. You're searching for something to fill the void that alcohol used to fill. And the truth is, if you don't give your brain new marching orders, it will default to old survival patterns. And that's how people relapse without ever taking a drink. They relapse into chaos and self-doubt and numbing and perfectionism and people-pleasing. Like, the alcohol's gone, but the patterns are still alive, unless you decide to replace them with something better. Structure in your day, not just not drinking. Clarity about who you're becoming, not just what you're avoiding. Commitment to your peace, not just compliance with a program. Quitting is the fork in the road. Recovery is choosing which direction you walk every single day. If you're feeling stuck, you're sober but restless or flat or disconnected, it's a sign you've outgrown where you are. That sense of boredom or emptiness, the constant wondering if this is all there is, it's your intuition telling you you're capable of more. You've already proven what a powerhouse you are. You quit drinking. You did the hard thing. And now your brain knows you're capable of more. And once your brain knows you're capable of more, it will start wanting more. More purpose, more alignment, more honesty, more you. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just sitting in a space that no longer fits the person you've become. And the longer you try to stay the same habits, same activities, same conversations, same mindset, the more restless you're going to feel. Because you didn't get sober to repeat the same life without alcohol. You got sober to build a new one, one that feels real and powerful and truly yours. So you don't need to overhaul your whole life today, but you do need a path. You need structure. You need direction that grows with you so you can stop circling where you've been and start moving toward where you want to go. One of the most common things I hear from clients after they've been sober for a while is this, like, I just feel nothing. So they're not depressed, not in crisis. They're just disconnected, like life is muted. Someone turned the volume down on everything. You're going through the motions, you're checking the boxes, you're doing all the right things, but inside you're emotionally flatlined. And because nobody is talking about this weirdness, you start to wonder if something's wrong with you. But here's the truth. That flatness or numbness, it's not a problem, it's a message. It's your nervous system telling you, listen, dude, we've stopped surviving. Now we have to learn how to live. When you quit drinking, your brain and body go into overdrive, trying to recalibrate. You've removed the stimulus that used to hijack your dopamine, your emotions, your coping, your identity. And at first, everything feels better, right? You're lighter, you're clearer. That's the pink cloud we talk about. You feel proud and hopeful and motivated. But eventually, your system levels out and that little high fades. The motivation wears off. And then you're left with stillness. And if you've been living in chaos, emotional or otherwise, stillness feels like emptiness. And I'm just like you. Stillness was brutal for me in early sobriety. I wasn't used to being still. I was used to bouncing from one thing to another, one bar to the next, one job, one relationship, one purchase, one trip, one dopamine hit. My whole life had been movement, distraction, momentum without direction. So when I finally got sober and everything got quiet, the stillness was deafening. And at first I thought something was wrong. Like, why did I feel so uncomfortable to just be? And it took practice, but stillness is a skill, right? I had to recalibrate my ability to sit with myself without numbing, avoiding, or running. Because when you get still, all the noise in your head gets loud. The self-doubt, fear, shame, guilt, that sense of never being enough, never being good enough. And for years, we drowned that noise out with alcohol. We silenced it with chaos. But when the alcohol's gone, the volume gets turned all the way back up. And if you don't know how to sit in it, you'll bounce, you'll escape, you'll try to outrun the silence all over again. But that silence isn't there to punish you. And I think like that's how I felt early on. So you might be feeling that too. It's not punishment, right? Most people interpret that emotional flatness as regression, like I'm sliding back. They think, why am I not happy? Why don't I feel excited anymore? Is something wrong with me? So they try to fix it, right? With more action, overcommitting, overspending, overthinking, starting projects they don't finish. Because anything feels better than being still. But that's exactly what makes this moment so powerful. Because stillness is the signpost that says, go inward, right? When you feel emotionally flat, it means you've removed the noise, you've stabilized the chaos, and now you're meeting your real emotional baseline. No stimulation, no numbing, no drama, just you, unfiltered. And that's where the real work begins. And this is where most people bail, right? Because this part isn't necessarily fun. It's not Instagram worthy. It's quiet and uncomfortable and awkward. But this is where you build something real because you finally have the emotional space to ask the real questions. Who am I without all the noise? What do I actually want? What parts of me need rebuilding, not just managing? This is the foundation of emotional sobriety. And it's the only way to get to real joy and real connection and real freedom. Stop thinking something's wrong and start recognizing it as a signal. This is emotional recovery, not emotional failure. Flatness thrives in unstructured space. If your days are wide open and undefined, your brain has no place to focus. Again, why I created the daily plan, because it was my own little system I created when I was early to give me focus and rhythm. So nothing is wrong with you. You're not regressing. You're not failing recovery. You're in the most honest part of the journey, the part where you can finally hear yourself think, the part where you learn how to feel again without buffering, numbing, or fixing. This is the exact moment most people misread and walk away from. Not you, because you're here and you're doing the serious effing work. And you know this is the work that gets you the unlimited life. That's what we're all going for. And, what so many people call boredom in recovery is actually just the absence of chaos. You're not really bored. You're just sitting in space you've never sat in before. Because when you quit drinking, you're not just removing the alcohol, you're removing all the things that came with it. The bars, the social invites, overstimulation, distraction, always having a plan, the adrenaline of always being on. And when that's gone, you're left with open space and no idea how to fill it. And here's the mistake most people make. They immediately start reaching for something to fill the gap, just like they always did, because addiction teaches us to manage discomfort by reaching outward. Drink something, eat something, buy something, flirt, scroll, schedule, control. It's the same pattern, just a different substance. But here's the thing. Being still doesn't equal boredom. Being still creates silence so that you're able to hear the noise in your head. You hear what's really going on inside. It shows you your habits, your fears, your self-worth, your relationship with yourself. And if you haven't built the muscles yet to deal with all of that, you're going to want to get out of that quiet as quickly as possible. That's when your brain tells you you're bored. Not because you're actually bored, but because you don't want to sit with the truth, right? The reality is boredom is a choice. It's not something that happens to you. If you're bored, you're being boring. There are a million things you can do at any given moment. But when none of them fix how you feel inside, you call it boredom, when really it's just discomfort. What you're craving is an activity. It's peace and connection and relief from your own thoughts. And that doesn't come from another event, another trip, or another distraction. It comes from doing the internal work, learning who you are without the chaos, noticing your patterns, getting honest about what still needs healing, and building the emotional strength to sit with yourself even when it's uncomfortable. Again, boredom is a choice. It's not something that happens to you. If boredom were truly the issue, if you just needed something to do, then the solution would be easy. You'd go for a walk, stretch your body, you'd drink water, you'd do breath work, pick up a book, clean a drawer, text a friend, you'd journal, organize the closet, you'd finally hang that picture or reply to the emails, or you'd finish the half-read book or the half-done project you've been avoiding for months. You've got a whole list of things you could be doing right now. But you don't want to do any of them. Not the productive things, not the peaceful things, not the simple, healthy things that would actually ground your energy. Why? Because boredom isn't the real issue. There are a million things you could do. But what happens? You start going down that list in your head and you shoot down every single one. I don't feel like it. That won't help. I'm tired. That's not what I need. Because it's not really about being bored. It's about trying to escape how you feel. The real issue is that you're searching for something to change how you feel, not something to actually do. You're not trying to heal. You're trying to escape. You're seeking distraction, dopamine, and avoidance dressed up as, I don't know what to do. But you do know. You just don't want to do it because it won't numb you fast enough. And when your nervous system is wired for high stimulation, when you've trained your brain to expect noise and chaos, scrolling, gossip, or alcohol to keep you occupied, then stillness feels like deprivation. Simple things won't cut it because you're not looking for peace, you're looking for a hit. And that's the cycle we have to break. Because the work isn't about doing more. The work is about being more honest with yourself about your patterns and what you actually need. And there's that little high that comes with early sobriety, right? A lot of people sleep better. You're getting things done. Your energy is up. People are proud of you. You're proud of yourself. It's like a second wind, a rush of energy and possibility. And that's that pink cloud. And it's beautiful. But often that novelty wears off. The compliments slow down. Your brain stops getting hits from external praise or milestones. And the motivation that felt so effortless in the beginning disappears. And that's the moment people get scared. Why don't I feel motivated anymore? Am I slipping? Why is this getting harder instead of easier? You start to doubt yourself and you start to drift. And if you're not careful, you'll start to romanticize the chaos you just crawled out of. The pink cloud isn't recovery, it's the warm up. It's momentum borrowed from outside energy, not built from within. And when that energy fades, you're left with a choice. You either keep waiting to feel motivated again, or you shift into something stronger. That something is ownership. And let me be really clear here. When I talk about ownership, I'm not talking about owning a business or a house. I'm talking about owning yourself, owning your decisions, owning your patterns, owning your peace. Ownership means you stop blaming circumstances, people, or your past. You stop waiting to be rescued. You stop negotiating with your growth, and you say, this is my life. These are my habits. These are my responsibilities, and I'm not outsourcing them anymore. That's ownership. And when I talk about leadership, I don't mean corporate titles or managing a team. I'm talking about self-leadership, the ability to guide yourself with clarity and direction and follow through. Self-leadership is making decisions that align with your values, not your emotions. It's doing what's right for your future, even when in the present, you're not feeling it. It's leading your thoughts and managing your energy and holding your boundaries. This is where real recovery begins. It's not about counting days. It's about stacking discipline, showing up when no one's watching. It's not about motivation. It's about consistency that builds self-respect. Because real recovery, that unlimited life, doesn't run on feelings. It runs on ownership. I didn't stay sober all these years because I was always motivated. I stayed sober because I got direction and I followed it, even on the days I didn't want to. Motivation is nice, but motivation is a mood. Ownership is a decision. Leadership is a practice. And it's what you have to do over and over again, especially when it stops being exciting. Because let's be honest, in early sobriety, the structure is usually built around outside things, right? A program, a sponsor, meetings, praise, milestones. But at some point, when the pink cloud ends, all that quiets down. And that's when the real question hits. Can you lead yourself when no one's clapping for you? That's the moment recovery becomes yours. And when you step into that ownership, it changes everything. Because you stop reacting to life and you start leading it. You stop waiting for peace and you start building it, right? You stop needing chaos to feel alive or needing permission to live the way you want to live. You stop asking if you're doing it right and you decide what right looks like for you. That's personal power. That's recovery in action. So if you've been coasting, again, you'll understand after everything I've just said, you see very clearly why you can have this feeling at 2 weeks in or 30 days in or 20 years in. If you've been coasting, silently wondering why everything feels a little dull, this is your moment. This is the point where most people drift. But you are going to decide to do it differently. Because this is where the unlimited life begins. Not when things are new and exciting, but when you become the person who follows through anyway. When you become your own structure, your own leadership, your own accountability. That's where freedom lives. So let's bring this home. We talked about a lot today, didn't we? We talked about what happens when quitting drinking isn't enough anymore. We named it, right? You know, I love to name it. I talk about that in a lot of episodes, name it. But we named it, that emotional flatness, the boredom, the restlessness. And we reframed it for what it really is. You quit drinking, you broke the cycle, you chose yourself and you followed through. That alone puts you in rare company. But sobriety is just the doorway. Happiness and purpose and freedom is the destination. And if you're feeling any of these things right now, the boredom, the restlessness, emotional flatness, it's growth, it's evolution. It's your brain saying, we've outgrown this spot. Let's build something better, right? You learned that quitting is a decision, but recovery is a direction. You don't need to hustle harder and do more things. You need structure and clarity to move forward. And emotional flatness isn't failure. And when we mislabel it as boredom, we run from it instead of learning from it. And the pink cloud was never meant to carry you long term. It was meant to wake you up so you could start owning this journey on a whole new level. You didn't get sober to just be fine. You didn't quit drinking to just go back to the same habits, same patterns, and same disconnection. You got sober because you knew you wanted more for yourself and your life and your family, more clarity and peace, more fun, more happiness. And that's what ownership gives you. That's what self-leadership creates. So here's your invitation. If this episode hit something real for you, if you're past the pink cloud and you know you're ready to take yourself seriously, stop drifting and start rebuilding with direction, I want to talk to you. I work with high-functioning people who are done half-assing recovery, done with moderation attempts, people who want structure, who want clarity, and want guidance from someone who's been there and made it out stronger. And if that's you, I would love to talk to you. You could book a call with me, addictionunlimited.com/call. It's free. We'll talk about where you are, where you want to go, and if we're a good fit to work together. There's no pressure and no pitch, just truth, strategy, and connection. If you're ready for that next level, book a call with me and let's go build it together. I love you guys. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next week.
You've reached the end of another great episode of the Addiction Unlimited podcast. Candid and honest conversation about addiction and recovery. Be sure to visit us at addictionunlimited.com to join the conversation and access show notes and links to everything we talked about. Love this episode? Please take 30 seconds to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes to help us improve and give you the information you want. Thanks for listening. See you next week.